Now at 6, drama in Chocowinity. Hear from people who are concerned about the future of EMS, all before a meeting tonight.
We are also following concerns in Kinston. The public meeting happening right now concerning removing stoplights along a busy street.
Plus, we'll have the latest in the race for governor. What new ads from Josh Stein's campaign are revealing about current Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson.
And we are just 1 week away from the U.S. Open happening in Pinehurst. Everything you need to know if you're planning to make a trip to watch some golf. Those stories and more coming up in less than 1 minute.
Now, it's your forecast first from Storm Team 9.
Well, over the past few minutes, we made it here in Greenville up to 90 degrees this afternoon. The prize will be more muggy and hot air moving in over the next few days. 90 degrees currently in Goldsboro, 88 in Kinston, 88 in Kenansville, a little cooler along the Carolina coast. Kill Devil Hills is 75 and Cape Hatteras checking in at 80. Yes, we've seen a few popcorn variety heat of the day summertime type thunderstorms this afternoon. Everything has remained sub-severe so far. We'll continue to monitor just in case we have any brief flare-ups. You'll see more coverage of thunderstorms in general approaching eastern North Carolina, and that's a sign of a more unsettled weather pattern for the middle of the week. We'll talk about all the possibilities coming up. The longest running newscast in the East starts now.
On your side, this is WNCT 9 News at 6.
The future of emergency medical services in Chocowinity is in question tonight, and we're hearing from concerned Not on Your Side viewers. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Ken Watlington.
And I'm Courtney Courtwright. Those viewers tell us the town is getting rid of an ambulance and several employees. There's a town commissioner meeting tonight to talk about that.
Not on Your Side, Sarah Gray Barr joins us live outside Town Hall in Chocowinity. Sarah Gray, what's the issue?
Yeah, Ken, Courtney, last night I got a call from Louise Buffalo. She's a local in Chocowinity, and she told me that I needed to be at this meeting here tonight. She says that town commissioners are doing away with transportation services, which is a service that lets people have an ambulance for non-emergency needs, for example, if you need to go to the doctor. Louise has a disabled daughter who depends on these transportation services to get to the doctor, to get to the dentist, and back. Without this service, Louise is scared of what the future might hold. I checked with Chocowinity EMS officials. They confirmed their transportation services ended in May. Chocowinity had 2 ambulances. Now there are proposed budget cuts, which will leave the community with just 1 ambulance. I spoke with an EMT who told me the impact could be widespread, and communities like Vanceboro and Blunts Creek could also feel the effects of Chocowinity getting rid of an ambulance.
Transportation services are definitely important in this area. I mean, our relationship with the community is really important, and these transportation services not only provide transport to doctors' offices, but to people's dialysis appointments as well, so they're super important.
I got copies of Chocowinity's budget from last year to compare it to this year's proposed budget. Last year, the department got around $1.6 million. Compare that to this year's proposed budget. EMS is budgeted for about $960,000. That's more than a $500,000 decrease. Tonight is the public hearing for that proposed budget, and the meeting is at 7 p.m. at Chocowinity Town Hall. We will be at the meeting covering it, and we will bring you an update later tonight. Live in Chocowinity, Sarah Gray Barr, 9 on your side.
All right, Sarah Gray, thanks. So keep us updated. Happening right now, the Pitt County Commissioners are holding a public hearing about the county budget. Commissioners will have the option of approving it as is tonight. They can also make adjustments to it if needed and approve it at a later time. Again, that meeting is happening right now at the County Administration Building on West 5th Street.
And in Kinston, the city wants to hear from you. They're hosting a public hearing session on a proposal to take away 3 traffic lights on a busy street. Not on Your Side's Erin Jenkins spoke with people in Kinston today. She joins us in the studio. So, Erin, what are you hearing?
Well, pretty much everyone I talked to today, whether it was walking down the street or inside of businesses, say they want these red lights on Queen Street to stay. Some of them will be voicing these thoughts at tonight's City Council meeting. Now, we also talked with the NCDOT. They say they have received complaints from citizens about having to stop at all of these lights on Queen Street. They then proposed a plan to the Lenore County Transportation Board to take away the lights at the intersections of Caswell, Gordon, and North Streets. Several residents and businesses aren't for it, though.
A lot of people tell me they use that red light to allow them to back out of their parking spot. So I think we have many more wrecks, and it's just a big safety violation that we don't need downtown. We're trying to grow our downtown and make it bigger and better. So if they take out all 3 lights in one area, it's just not going to be a safe thing to do.
Now, the city is meeting right now with people during their city council meeting at City Hall. If you can't make it to that meeting, they also have a link online for you to fill out.
All right, so Aaron, after tonight's meeting, what comes next?
Well, the NCDOT says they will also be at this meeting to hear from some of these people. They say they will then take all of these perspectives they hear into consideration and then make a final decision in the coming days. They also say they will not move forward without support from both the city and the Lenoir County Transportation Committee. Now, if this option doesn't work out, they'll meet with these organizations to discuss other options. In the studio, Aaron Jenkins, 9 on your side.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Over in Goldsboro tonight, the city says they are starting to enforce 2-hour parking. This is in effect from 8:30 in the morning to 5:30 each evening, Monday through Friday. The parking zone includes Center Street from Ash to Chestnut Street and Mulberry and Walnut Streets from John to James Streets. A 2-hour parking violation is $25.
In your crime tracker tonight, the Duplin County Sheriff's Office needs your help looking for someone they say broke into a gun store last week. They say it happened last Tuesday at Bear Swamp Guns. That's on NC 2550 near Warsaw. Deputies say when they got there, they say the store was broken into and several guns were stolen. The Sheriff's Office is releasing these surveillance pictures of the suspect. Deputies say this person did get hurt at the scene. If you have any information about this break-in or know who this person is, call the Duplin County Sheriff's Office. Their number is 910-296-2150. Developing back here in Pitt County, an 8th grade teacher from Chicod School is now suspended due to allegations of inappropriate conduct. Pitt County school officials say Megan Hardy is on suspension. We have reached out to Hardy, but we haven't heard back just yet. An investigation is ongoing through the Pitt County school system and the Pitt County Sheriff's Office. No charges have been filed at this time. We will, of course, update you on air and online once we find out more.
North Carolina Emergency Management is announcing several eastern North Carolina cities are getting money for the 2023 Disaster Relief and Mitigation Fund. They say this money will go to help several development projects. Kinston is getting $3 million for a flood benching project at Bill Fay Park. Greenville getting $2 million for a project on St. Andrews Drive. Meanwhile, along the coast, several cities are getting money for stormwater projects. North Topsail Beach is getting more than $1.2 million. Surf City getting just over $565,000, and Pine Knoll Shores is getting more than $270,000. To see the full list of towns getting grants, head over to WNCT.com.
Governor Roy Cooper says he could see more announcements about more jobs coming to our state. This after his recent trip to Europe. His office says they met with more than a dozen companies, including some in clean energy. There are more than 1,700 foreign companies operating in North Carolina, employing more than 300,000 people. The governor says he highlighted workforce training at the state's community colleges. He was also asked about how this year's election could change political dynamics, both here in North Carolina and also at the federal level.
They like North Carolina's predictability. They like North Carolina's middle-of-the-road approach to politics. They like the fact that we work together on economic development.
The governor recently hosted the Prime Minister of Japan after a visit to that country last year.
At the State General Assembly, Republicans in the Senate dropping a plan to restrict public access to autopsy records. We first told you about this last month. Senators say there was a concern about cases being overturned on appeal because of pictures and videos from the records influencing a jury. They say they removed the provision because they wanted to ensure other measures in that bill passed.
We just weren't sure where the House was going to be on it. Some of these other changes were extremely necessary to ensure that these death by distribution cases are adequately prosecuted. We had some of the DWI interlock things that we needed to do. We just wanted to make sure we got that across the finish line, and then we can maybe come back and look at this other stuff later.
This bill now includes stiffer penalties for people who distribute the drug xylazine when that causes someone's death. We've been following that drug as well. You may remember it as gas station heroin.
WNCT is your local election headquarters. Tonight, Democratic candidate for Governor Josh Stein is releasing his first ads of the campaign. They feature statements his opponent, Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, has made on abortion. That includes Robinson saying abortion in this country is about women not being able to be responsible enough to, quote, keep your skirt down, end quote. Robinson's campaign says he wants to restrict abortion after a fetal heartbeat can be detected, with some exceptions. Stein says he wants to allow abortion up to about 24 to 28 weeks.
It's incredibly distressing the way he talks about women. And the ad really speaks for itself because the lieutenant governor is speaking for himself.
A spokesman for Robinson's campaign called the abortion ad deceptively edited. And we are nearly 5 months away from having to make your pick in the race for governor. You can see it right there on your screen. The countdown is on. We are 154 days away from Election Day, but voting here in North Carolina will start early. The early voting period starts October 17th. That is 135 days away. And make sure you stay up to date on the election. We are making it easy for you. Just find this Your Local Election Headquarters page over on our website, WNCT.com. It is full of stories all about the candidates and information like where you can vote in this year's election. You can find it all by hovering your mouse on the News tab on the top banner and clicking Your Local Election Headquarters.
Still ahead here on WNCT 9 News at 6. We're a week away from the U.S. Open, returning to historic Pinehurst #2. We've got all the information you need to know before you go check out some golf.
And a perfect day to head out to the North Carolina beach outside today. It's one of the cooler locations for sure. We'll talk about some hot weather and some unsettled weather for midweek next.
Coming up tonight on the CBS Evening News, the sweeping executive action by President Biden, cracking down on illegal crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border. The details about the restrictive new immigration policy and when it's set to go into effect. That and more headlines tonight on the CBS Evening News.